You're listening to This Week in the World of Football, which is coming to you from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. The purpose of this podcast is to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. The intent is to educate, inform, and entertain you, the listener, with the glorious buffet that is the world of football, while also keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. You can find this show on a multitude of podcast platforms as well as on YouTube. Timestamps are provided in the show description, so you can jump to the topics you really want to listen to. So without further ado, let's kick off this week's show.
Hello again, everyone. This is episode 393 for May 13th, 2025, and I'm your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, quarterback Derek Carr retires from the NFL after 11 seasons, the Albany Firebirds remain undefeated in the AF1, and the NFL released the matchups for 6 out of its 7 international games. But I'm not here all by myself. Across the table from me, as always, is my son, Adam.
Oh, my God. Is it only Tuesday? Man, this week's dragging already.
Is it Tuesday?
It is. Everything's all thrown off. So we had our show last Wednesday. That was the only video we did pretty much.
Yeah.
Did nothing this week up to this point. We're going to talk about what's coming up. We're going to have a pretty busy week. But, man, the floodgates have opened with news because the NFL schedule is in tow.
Yep.
So
they dumped a bunch of stuff today and tried to.
The fact that they're purposely leaking out things here and there, one game here, one game there, and they're just stretching it out. Ugh.
Right.
All leading to, what the best time of the year is, when all these social media teams get to flex their muscles and put out their fun video.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about those in the next couple weeks.
Do you want to give our top 10 NFL social media?
We'll see. There may not be 10 good ones this year, kind of like last year.
Well, then we'll have a top 6 list.
the bottom. We'll do a bottom 10.
Who did the worst?
Yeah, these are the worst ones this year. The rest of them were just so-so, but these were the worst of the so-so.
I love when we come up with ideas on the fly. This is great.
Not only do we have this weekly podcast, but we also make YouTube videos. We currently have over 550 videos on our YouTube channel, with the newest being nothing. We didn't do anything this week.
It was a pretty chill Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah. But we do have some upcoming ones. We're doing our AF1 Week 9 recap tomorrow.
Yep, because they had the Monday night game, so we didn't record yesterday.
Yep, and so by next week we'll also have our Week 10 recap because they've only got a couple games. So that should be a quick one for the next week coming up. Let's see. We've got. You're going to do an episode of Just Lying Around with Kyle. The draft and 2025 schedule release.
Yeah, he made sure to tell me that we're going to do that on Thursday, which is his wife's birthday, too. I was like, you sure you want to do this on her birthday? She'll probably be working, so it's probably okay.
Well, I'll take her out somewhere, and you guys can...
we'll do our podcast?
Yeah, do your podcast, and she and I will go have dinner somewhere.
Oh.
Let's see. What's this? Adam predicts the 2025 NFL season?
Oh, yeah. Every year I say I'm going to do it, and I'm going to try to do it again this year. Because last year I had it all written out, and I just never recorded anything. I'm going to predict every single team's record going through the schedule now that the schedule will be released. So I'm going to do something where all 32 teams.
What about our NFL picks videos that we do? We're going to have your predictions.
I'm going to spoil mine for the whole season.
So you won't even need to show up. Oh, let's see. According to Adam's list that he made back in May, he's predicting this for this game.
And then by the time we get to week 1, I'll go, wow, I'm an idiot. I need to change all of this.
Yeah.
That's how it usually goes.
I used to do that years ago. I mean, back in the early 80s, the schedule would come out, and I'd go through, Lions are going to win this one. Just the Lions schedule. Yeah. I would predict what they would finish, and I was always wrong.
Oh, yeah.
When I thought they were going to be terrible, they did great. When I thought they were going to be great, they did terrible. So, oh, my God.
Everybody's going to be 8-8 or 8-9 or whatever. I'm going to hedge my bets.
You're going to even do a Super Bowl prediction?
I think I will. I'll go that far as to see how right I am. I'll probably be really wrong, and I'm okay with that. So,
okay.
It's all about creating that engagement, Randy. Everybody's like, you're an idiot. Thumbs down, and I'll go, thank you. You're interacting with our video. That's all I care about.
Jeez. All right. Well, let's begin our weekly tour around the world of football, and we're going to start off this week with scores from Arena Football 1. Yes, there were 3 games this week in Week 9 of the AF1. On Saturday, it was the Albany Firebirds over the Nashville Cats, 71-55. That was your Vice game of the week. This turned out to be a pretty entertaining game for the most part.
It was like 75% a good game.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much of this you watched. I was kind of traveling a little bit, or going around town, and I had the game on my phone, and the Cats were giving it to them to start this game off, and then something happened in the third quarter where just bar ball off the off the net, and then a couple of them actually hit the net and just kind of goofed the Cats up, and they just couldn't do anything in that third quarter. The Firebirds capitalized and came out with the victory. I mean, otherwise the Cats hung in there. They are not that same team we saw week one.
They played well, but still came up a little bit short.
How about Colcomania, though?
But but I sent you and Tim Capper in our little chat group a picture because I had one game on. There were two games on Saturday night, and I had one game on the TV, the Vice game, and then the other game I was watching on my laptop. So I took a picture where you could see both screens.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was a big night.
Still
for me.
not anywhere near what Trey does. I mean,
I know
you can't go bragging like, look, I got two screens at once, and Trey's like, hold my beer, I got like 8 games.
Well,
on
it's
at
not
once.
like we had 3 games going on there in Springville, New York.
But you said it wasn't even
ago.
that. That's why I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
But
and your TV looks like an iPad.
I did see both games. I was watching both games, but it was hard because you're only able to listen to one game. So
you're doing it wrong then.
Well,
you put a headphone in one ear with one game and a headphone in the other ear with the other game.
Are you kidding me? That would drive me nuts. But yeah, I was flipping back and forth. I had them. I could see both, and I would move the sound from one to the other when something was going on. But anyway, yeah, we'll go into more depth on our AF1 recap video. But yeah, Albany over Nashville, 71-55. In the other game on Saturday night, it was the Billings Outlaws over the Washington Wolfpack, 69-10. What'd you think of those gray uniforms that the Outlaws were wearing?
We had heard how they were mimicking the Lions' alternate gray uniforms.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw them.
And when I first looked at them, I was like, they don't look that much like it. Then the camera angle changed, and I saw the sleeve, and it actually said Billings, I think, right on the sleeve inside the stripe. And I was like, okay, never mind. That is exactly like the Lions. So I am flattered and honored that Mr. Titus would think of the Detroit Lions, our beloved Detroit Lions, and mimic them in any capacity. But I think my problem with the Outlaws uniforms, and don't get me wrong, I don't think they're terrible, but every other team has great uniforms, I feel like. All three, alternate, main, away, all look great. Billings is just kind of, it's a little old school, which is nothing wrong with it, but it just, I'm missing their logo. I miss that cool cowboy. I mean, maybe he heard me complaining about all the cowboy hats. It's like, okay, one less cowboy hat to look at. But I just kind of miss the cowboy logo or the outlaw logo on the patch. Even the circular logo could be cool on the shoulders or something. I mean, do something a little different. I miss that identifier on the uniform. Otherwise, I heard somebody say, all you see is it says Outlaws on the front of the jersey, and that's it. That's the only way you know it's the Outlaws. So I don't know. Otherwise, not a bad look. I prefer if they went back to the blue. I think I get that this year they experimented. They mainly did the black, and I don't know. I think they should go back to the blue.
Well, I think for Billings, those gray uniforms look fine. I mean, I'm fine with them wearing those. I hate it when the Lions wear that blue uniform, and it's basically the exact same thing. So
you mean the gray uniform?
The gray uniform. But yeah, I don't like them on Detroit, but on Billings, I like them. They're fine.
And, a game was played, too. I know we're a couple of fashionistas right now just talking about uniforms. But, I mean, the game itself, though, a different look Billings team. I mean, they even got on Sports Center. I mean, I
heard that. I didn't see it.
You didn't see the highlight? Oh, yeah, the highlight of Darius Prince catching the ball and going over the wall.
Oh,
it was a pretty good highlight.
That was a good highlight.
It was a good highlight. So that made it onto Sports Center.
Cool.
Which was pretty sweet. And, I don't know if this has been a great litmus test for this new Billings Outlaws team. They also got quarterback Malik. I'm already
Henry.
Malik Henry. Yep. And he looked great.
Looked good.
He looked good.
He did.
But I think, unfortunately, the Wolfpack aren't really up to snuff. I want to say they got some good pieces. Like, don't get me wrong, they got a defensive lineman I think is great, one of the best defensive linemen in the league. But I just think on the whole, this team just hasn't put it together, especially against higher end competition. Like there's 3 or 4 teams in this league that are just not quite there still, and we're halfway through the season. But we'll have to wait and see if this Billings team is truly on the bounce back, or if this was just a slightly more talented team against a team that still hasn't figured everything out yet.
Well, I think this was a good win for them because they needed a win.
They did need it.
And, with a bunch of new people in there, this was their first chance to get them on the field, get them playing together, and see how everybody gelled. And, against a so-so opponent. So so I think this was a good win for them, regardless.
I mean, any win's a good win, but,
Yeah.
In terms of how they're going to stack up against the rest of the league, remains to be seen. They're going to have a big test coming up, but, you got to just beat who's in front of you, and they beat who's in front of them.
Yep.
And as with this next game, I am just kind of glad this game got played.
Yeah, I'm surprised, and I'm surprised it was actually somewhat competitive for about half the game. The Oregon Lightning hosted the Corpus Christi Tritons and came out with a 52-20 win. These late night games in Oregon,
AF1 after dark,
are killing me. I wasn't even there for this game. I couldn't stay up that late, so I didn't. I just caught the highlights this morning, but they kept it pretty close. I think at halftime it was 26-14 Lightning. So I mean it was kind of good, and then just the third quarter came and the Tritons closed the gap to 26-20, but then after that they went off and scored 26 unanswered points and just shut them out in the fourth quarter, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean the team the Tritons put together doesn't sound like they were a bunch of actual scrubs, like guys just off the streets. Looks like they actually signed some guys,
right?
And they just redid this roster, and a few of them looked like they even didn't know the rules because there was a kickoff that a guy couldn't get out of the end zone, and you could see all the Tritons players holding their hands over their heads like, safety, that's a safety. It's like, no, guys, it's a touchback. He couldn't get it out, the different rules. So I kind of figured, I was like, okay, these guys aren't too familiar with the rules, but that's fine. But, I mean, there was some competitiveness back and forth, but Oregon just clearly, was the better team.
Yes.
They've been playing a little more together, and you could tell that Corpus Christi, while they had some guys who made some plays, just didn't have the experience of the game quite like Oregon did. Despite Oregon not still being one of the top teams in the league, at least Oregon's had a unit there. Mm-hmm. And I'm still not impressed with their arena. I hate to say it.
Yeah, the walls keep moving when they run into them still.
Yeah,
that's a safety thing.
I never want to say that a city or an arena should lose a team, but that's clearly an arena that is just not, at least the way they're setting it up. I don't know what else they got to do, but It is just not, I think, conducive to helping the game.
Yeah.
So maybe keep them in Oregon, but they got to find a different venue.
Yeah.
I don't think they could go back to that venue next season.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, and two teams were on bye this week: the Southwest Kansas Storm and the Salina Liberty. We're both on a bye. And next week, in Week 10, you've got the Southwest Kansas Storm at Billings. That's going to be your Vice game of the week. I didn't write down what day of the week that's on. I think that's
Saturday.
Is it
Saturday? Yep.
Okay, and then the other game, I didn't write that
Sunday.
one down. Washington at Oregon for the fourth time this season.
Yeah.
Those two teams should know each other very well by now. And then 4 teams on bye next week: Salina, Nashville, Albany, and Corpus Christi. So just 2 games next weekend. Looking at the standings in the AF1 after Week 9, Albany sits at the top at an 8-0 record, the only undefeated team out there. I don't know who's going to stop them right now.
I like if Nashville and Salina can put together full games. Those are 2 teams. I know Salina's record doesn't look it, but they're a team right now. Like the way they hung with those Firebirds a couple weeks ago, I would say Salina. If Salina does their end and can get into the playoffs, I would be very scared of Salina. But otherwise, Nashville's just got to put together full 4 quarters too, because Albany has not looked perfect. They were off to that slow start against Nashville, but as we've seen in arena football, what makes this game so great is when that ball hits that net or that iron, anything can happen. Chaos happens, and the game can swing in either direction. And that's why we love the game. That's why we get hooked. It's why it's one of our favorite things to talk about. That's why we lead off with arena football, because we love it so much. So I think Salina is that other team. They just got to get through that rest of the schedule and start stacking some wins.
All right, so like I said, Albany at 8-0, Southwest Kansas at 5-3, Nashville and Corpus Christi at 3-3, Billings is at 3-4, Oregon's at 3-5, Salina 2-5, and Washington at 2-6. So that's it for the AF1. Let's move over to Adam and the National Arena League.
That's right. There were some games that were played in this league that I know we all watched. Just kidding. Did anybody really watch these games besides Trey? I don't know anybody who did. And your laptop is doing that thing again that I hate. I can't click on nothing.
What, the mouse isn't working for you?
Yeah, it won't let me click where I need to go. I hate this. There it goes. Because, it's really hard to write down timestamps when it won't let me do what I'm trying to do. All right. Week 10 in the National Arena League. And Saturday we had a triple header. Columbus, the Lions, defeated the Shreveport Rougarou 40-20. And then on Saturday, how about those Beaumont Renegades continuing their undefeated streak as they defeated the Wheeling Miners 41-26, even causing Wheeling Miners quarterback, I forget his name at the top of my head, but I think their quarterback retired.
That's right. I did see that.
I don't know if it was the same quarterback that started the game, but I saw that a quarterback for Wheeling retired, and I was like, yikes, Beaumont just making guys retire left and right, and kicking butt and taking names. And then also Saturday, the Omaha Beef defeated the Sioux City Bandits 55-42. And then on bye, the Colorado Spartans and the Idaho Horsemen. And now next week, week 11, we got 3 games. Starting on Thursdays, the Colorado Spartans will travel to Idaho to take on the Horsemen. Saturday, the Sioux City Bandits will go to Wheeling to take on the Miners. And then the Lions of Columbus will go to Beaumont to take on the Renegades yet again. Can the Lions finally get revenge, or will Beaumont stick a stamp, and say we are the team?
Yeah, we're the team to beat this year.
I mean, they've already beat the Columbus Lions and they've beaten the Omaha Beef twice, I want to say now. So, all roads lead through Beaumont, it sounds like. All right, and then your standings in the National Arena League after 10 weeks. In the American Division, the 6-0 Beaumont Renegades, the 3-3 Columbus Lions, the 2-4 Shreveport Rougarou, and the 2-5 Wheeling Miners. In the National Division, the 6-1 Omaha Beef, the 5-2 Colorado Spartans, the Sioux City Bandits at 3-4, as well as the Idaho Horsemen at 3-4. And I probably have to take that back because clearly the Beef have only lost one game, and that had to have been to the Renegades. So they probably only played once. I think they played the Columbus Lions a couple times already. Yep. So.
And you forgot to mention that on bye this past week were the Omaha Beef and the Shreveport Rougarou.
Oh, well, they'll be on bye next week.
Yeah, or next week, yes.
Yep. Did not mention that.
Okay. All right, we're going to move over to the IFL now. We have Week 8 scores, a bunch on Saturday and one game on Sunday. On Saturday, it was the Green Bay Blizzard over the Quad City Steamwheelers, 47-25. The Tulsa Oilers over the Iowa Barnstormers, 62-57. Arizona Rattlers over the Bay Area Panthers, 53-48.
Yeah, close game like we all were hoping it would end up being.
Yeah. The Vegas Nighthawks over the San Antonio Gunslingers, 55-27. Tucson Sugar Skulls over the Massachusetts Pirates, 47-26. And on Sunday, it was the San Diego Strike Force over the Northern Arizona Wranglers, 40-29. 2 teams on bye this past weekend, the Fishers Freight and the Jacksonville Sharks. So looking ahead to Week 9, we've got 2 games on Friday night, Tulsa Oilers at the Steamwheelers and the Sugar Skulls at the Bay Area Panthers. Then on Saturday, we have 4 games, San Diego Strike Force at San Antonio Gunslingers, Fishers Freight at Jacksonville Sharks, Green Bay Blizzard at the Iowa Barnstormers, Vegas Nighthawks at Arizona Rattlers, and on Sunday it's the Massachusetts Pirates at the Northern Arizona Wranglers. No teams on a bye. Everybody's in play this coming week. So looking at the standings after 8 weeks, in the East it's Quad City with a 6-1 record, Green Bay with a 4-3 record, Jacksonville Sharks at 4-2, Tulsa Oilers at 4-2, Massachusetts Pirates at 2-4, Fishers Freight at 2-4, and the Iowa Barnstormers at 1-5. In the West, it's the Arizona Wranglers at 5-1, Bay Area Panthers at 4-2, along with the Vegas Nighthawks at 4-2, San Diego Strike Force 3-3, Tucson Sugar Skulls 3-3, San Antonio Gunslingers 1-5, and finally the lowly Northern Arizona Wranglers at 0-6. Man, they got to get a win bad here soon. So, Adam, let's have you do the UFL scores.
All right. Yep, we're going to tackle the UFL. What a weekend of games it was. One in particular I'm very excited to talk about. But things started Friday as the DC Defenders came back to beat the San Antonio Brahmas 32-24 in this one. San Antonio, I don't know if you caught any of this game.
No, I didn't.
But man, I just feel bad for San Antonio. Like, I thought they were going to turn a corner, and they are still finding ways to lose, it looks like. But Saturday's the game I really got locked into, as the Michigan Panthers also came back against the Arlington Renegades and defeated the Renegades 25-24. How much of this game did you catch?
I watched like the last half of the fourth quarter.
Okay, I watched the entire game.
Okay.
I mean, it started off, the Panthers seemed like they were locked in, but eventually the Renegades kind of came back, and the Renegades got like all the momentum. It looked like they were up by, I want to say, 9 points at one point, but they were controlling the game for a while. The Panthers came back, tied it up, and then at the end of the game, then I think that's how it happened. The Renegades got the lead, or the Renegades had the lead towards the end of the game. Panthers, minute or two left, driving down, and a sequence of events that even I was sitting there scratching my head like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Because the Panthers went down, time was running out, their quarterback kind of scrambles to the end zone, leaps over a guy just to get to the first down where the clock would stop. But he hits the ground, and it looked like the clock hit zero, and that was it. I thought that was it. I thought the game was over.
Yeah, the announcers thought it was over.
The Renegades
too.
Players started running and cheering, and then all of a sudden, they're like, put 1 second back on the clock. I'm like, wait, how? And it seems like as soon as he hit the ground, yes, there was maybe a second or two left.
I think it was
and
two.
that the coach of the Panthers was like right there and called the timeout like instantly. I don't know if there's a conspiracy. Even I couldn't believe it when it happened. And it gave the Panthers one last shot to get in the end zone, and gosh golly, they did, to tie that game up at 24.
Yeah.
And then they got the 1-point conversion to take the win there at the end of the game and just suck all the life out of that Arlington team.
That was something else. That was a fantastic finish.
It was. We've seen the Panthers be in a lot of great finishes in the UFL. And look, I know like people are going to always complain about the attendance numbers and stuff. And
right.
There's quite a few stories that just came out today about the UFL, which gives me some hope. I think season ticket renewals have been are starting up for next year already. And I think the Panthers, tickets, at least attendance has been up this year for them. So good for the Panthers. They announced Pizza Hut as a sponsor, which I thought was pretty cool. So I think the UFL is in an okay spot. They do have a lot of room to grow and to improve this game, I think.
And yeah, the Panthers, I mean, you're going to have a tough time getting into a Lions game anymore for less than a new mortgage on your house. So if you want to see Ford Field, if you want to go to the Lions gift shop, go to a UFL game. The food's still good. The seats are plentiful right now. The Lions gift shop is open. So yeah, we were there a few weeks ago.
I didn't think about it, but that makes sense. Maybe that's what's ticking up some Panthers attendance this year. Is like people saying, I'm not going to be able to go to a Lions game, but I could shell out $30 to go to a Panthers game.
Sure. We'll have a good time. The team's halfway decent. And
yeah, they're a very good team. And I don't think they'll be able to host a playoff game. I think teams are finally getting eliminated, and we'll talk about that in a second. But, I mean, if the Panthers could host a playoff game at Ford Field, that could be fun. But
yeah.
I don't know if they could or not. We'll have to wait and see how the division shakes out. But it feels good to be a Panthers fan right now.
Yeah, their merchandise was not that plentiful when we were there last time. But like I said, you could go to the Lions team store and pick up anything you wanted there. And they had so much cool stuff in the Lions area, too. But yeah, if you've never seen Ford Field before, here's your chance.
Right.
Go take in a game and enjoy the stadium, see what all the fuss is about.
And their final home game is this weekend. Because, man, I can't believe we're already about to hit week 8.
Yeah.
But then Sunday, we had the Birmingham Stallions come back to defeat the Houston Roughnecks 33-25. The Stallions just doesn't matter who's playing quarterback for them. They find ways to win.
Yep.
And I think they said Alex Magoo is supposed to come back and play for them some more. I really don't know. I haven't really watched a whole lot of Stallions this year.
Yeah,
but, man, they keep finding ways to win. And then Sunday night, the St. Louis Battlehawks defeated the Memphis Showboats 9. Sorry, Royce. And then next week 8, Friday night, we'll see the Memphis Showboats at the San Antonio Brahmas. Both teams are 1-6, so this is a battle for who's going to get the number 1 draft pick next year.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Then Saturday, we got a doubleheader as the Birmingham Stallions will travel to the Dome at America Center to take on the St. Louis Battlehawks. Both of these teams are 5-2.
That should be a
very good game. Then also Saturday, the Michigan Panthers. It says they're at Houston. I thought they were supposed to be a home game this weekend, but maybe I'm wrong. But the Panthers are taking on the Roughnecks this weekend, and the Roughnecks, despite being 3-4, still a team that could pose some problems. So the Panthers better stay on their toes. And then the Arlington Renegades on Sunday will travel to D.C. to take on the Defenders.
You talk about draft picks for next year. They're supposed to have a couple of expansion teams next year, so those 2 teams might get the first couple of
we'll have to wait and see how they handle that.
To see how that goes, unless they throw a lottery out there. But with 2 new teams, they're going to need to stock that, so they might give them a little bit of an edge.
Maybe
Who knows?
we'll have to wait and see how that goes. We're very excited about the expansion.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a couple more teams.
If and when they get to that.
Yep.
All right, your standings after 7 weeks in the XFL division. The 5-2 Defenders and the 5-2 Battlehawks sit atop the XFL division. Behind them, the 3-4 Arlington Renegades and the 1-6 San Antonio Brahmas. And then the USFL division, the Panthers and Stallions sit at 5-2 apiece, while the Roughnecks sit at 3-4 and the Memphis Showboats at 1-6.
You notice how all those records are the same from the East and the West?
They've been like that the last couple of weeks.
A couple of 5-2 teams, then a 3-4 team, and a 1-6 team, both in the USFL and the XFL division.
And if I'm correct, I believe the Brahmas and the Showboats have both been eliminated from the playoffs mathematically. So 4 spots open, 6 teams in the hunt. So.
Yeah, we may have a couple more teams eliminated this week, or everything could be set. After week 8.
We'll have to see, and we'll talk about that next week, I guess.
Yep. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the LFA. La Liga de Fútbol Americano Profesional. This is week 2 down there in Mexico. They had a game on Friday night where the Dinos defeated the Archangels 20-3. The Mexicans defeated the Kings 27-3. The Bears defeated the Black Roosters 34-20. The Bears, an expansion team this year, are now 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
So good for them. And finally on Sunday, it was the Leaders over the Raptors 30-9.
Yep, and all those games, I think you can stream those on YouTube. They did last year. I can't remember where you can stream them now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't checked out a game yet, but
I haven't been able to catch them either. I forget about it until it's like, oh yeah, duh, that play. I get all the social media posts about the scores and stuff. Right. So, yep. But hey, go check them out. I'm actually very excited to see what the Bears do, or the Osos. Yeah. Which is obviously, we keep talking about, is owned by George Kittle and some other select NFL players. So clearly they're putting some resources into that team. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
All right, and then we're going to now tackle the Women's Football Alliance, which was in their 3rd week. We got some random scores here because there's so many darn teams. It's hard to cover all of them. So here's the
55 teams, I think, total.
Yep. So Randy just pulled out these games, and we're going to find out why he picked these ones in particular. The first one, the Virginia Panthers defeated the Tri-State Warriors 18-6. The St. Louis Slam defeated the Minnesota Vixen 34-27. Sorry, and then the Oregon Cougars defeated the River City Grizzlies 40-2. Let me guess. Virginia Panthers because you like the Panthers, Michigan Panthers. The St. Louis Slam because you like that breakfast slam from Denny's. And the Minnesota Vixen because we've talked about them before. They're a name we actually recognize. The Oregon Cougars because, well, who doesn't like a cougar? And that's all I got. Those are the jokes.
No, the River City Grizzlies scoring 2 points. 40-2. I looked at that score and I said, okay, I'm going to do that one. Basically, I try to pick out teams that we haven't talked about last week. You don't want to talk about the Pittsburgh Passion every week.
Why not? If they're good, they're good.
They're too good. So we got to mention every. With 55 teams out there, we've got enough teams that we.
What precedent are we setting when we're saying, "Oh, you're too good. We're not going to talk about you"? They'll be like, "Oh, Albany Firebirds, you're too good. We're not talking about you." Yeah, we're not going to talk about the Patriots. We're not going to talk about the Albany Firebirds. We're not going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't like to harp on the 60-0 scores, and there's a lot of
lopsided games,
beat downs in this league. So yeah, I try to look at some of the competitive scores and try and just pick out a couple of teams.
How's our Grand Rapids team doing?
They lost last week. I forget the score, but they scored maybe 10, 20 points, but they still lost big. So, at least they weren't shut out this week.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for this week's World of Football scoreboard. So now we're going to move to other happenings in the world of football, and plenty of news out of the NFL this week. Saints quarterback Derek Carr announced his retirement after 11 seasons due to a shoulder injury. He was a second-round pick by the Raiders in 2014. He moved with the Raiders to Las Vegas in 2020, and he's been with the New Orleans Saints the last 2 seasons. Does that surprise you that he's retiring?
A little bit, maybe not really. I mean, we had some question marks about his health going into this season, and it just sounds like this is a decision that helps both teams out. I think they said that by him retiring, he still gets like a $10 million bonus or whatever for being on the roster by a certain point around the draft, I think. But he had like a $30 million, I forget the exact terminology, but there was like $30 million there that he would have kept if he was still with the team, but because he's retiring, that $30 million is going back to the team. So it was kind of like a win-win. He still got his $10 million bonus, and the team gets to save $30 million by him retiring, which I think for the Saints is probably a good thing because they could use all the help they can get. Right now, I'd say they're probably one of the worst teams in the league. Their quarterback situation is a mess. I don't know who they're going to have starting when the season kicks off. Is it going to be Spencer Rattler? Is it going to be that kid they drafted out of Louisville, was it? I forget what school the guy went to, but that 30-year-old freshman or rookie quarterback that they drafted.
Well, they could probably pick up somebody from the Browns because they've got so many that they're not going to keep all 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks they got on their roster.
Well, my buddy
right
texted me. He's like, "Do you think the Saints are kicking themselves now that they didn't draft Shedeur Sanders when they had the chance?"
He may wind up there after all.
I don't think that'll happen.
But, but they could pick up somebody from the Browns.
I think there could be some other veteran guys out there.
What about Aaron Rodgers? Do you think maybe that puts the Saints in play now?
I don't think it does. I think he's got one to the Steelers, if anywhere.
I just want him to retire.
I don't see that happening. We'll see what Kellen Moore does, the new head coach down there at New Orleans. So I don't know. It'll be an interesting situation to say the least.
Okay.
But Derek Carr, I think he kind of was always in the Matthew Stafford kind of camp for me. Just like he was a good quarterback that just was always on a bad team that he usually had to carry that team for the most part. But I mean, Stafford obviously left Detroit, got a ring somewhere else. Carr unfortunately didn't get the same luxury, but I thought Carr was a very adequate quarterback. Kind of bummed that that's how his career ended up. A couple banged up years in New Orleans, but I mean, when I think of him, I'll always think of him being a scrappy, pretty good quarterback. I mean, he's not going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't even know if he'd make it into the Raiders Ring of Honor. I honestly don't know where he would stack up for them. So it's just a really good quarterback that I think had so much upside and just never got to fully showcase that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a lot of news came out just today from the NFL because the full schedule is coming out tomorrow.
And, of course, the NFL doesn't do anything small. They're
lots of hoopla, 8 o'clock special, probably going to be going on for 2-3 hours.
I feel like every hour I found some new thing that the NFL leaked out in quotations.
Right, yeah.
And I send it to you like, hey, well, add this to the rundown, add this to the rundown.
Yep. And the first thing that really came out was that the Eagles will host the Cowboys in the 2025 season opener on Thursday Night Football, September 4th.
It's cool. One less game I got to watch now.
But there were a couple other little stories that also popped in, and we'll get to more of the schedule talk here in a minute. But Rich Eisen is returning to ESPN after working at NFL Network since 2003. The Rich Eisen Show will begin airing on ESPN this fall. But I think he's still doing some stuff for ESPN too. I mean,
for NFL Network?
For NFL Network, yes. So he's kind of been going back and forth. But the Rich Eisen Show is moving to ESPN.
I think that's cool, and I think it'll also stream on Disney Plus. So that's actually kind of cool. I like the Rich Eisen Show.
But all the talk is that ESPN is going to be buying the NFL Network and then running that after a while because the NFL doesn't want to mess with it anymore. I guess I don't know.
I don't know what the deal is. I mean, the NFL's got so much money. I'm surprised they don't just leave it alone and just it's one of ours.
So it's a money loser. We got billions coming in.
Exactly. Like I don't know, they're losing talent. They lost Schrager to ESPN.
Yeah.
Now Rich Eisen. I don't know what the deal is, but I mean ESPN sounds like they're loading up for their a big season. I think do they have the Super Bowl this year on ESPN?
I'm not sure who was broadcasting the Super Bowl this year.
Maybe I misread.
We'll know that when the schedule comes out tomorrow for sure.
I forget who has it this year. I don't think it's ESPN, but
Yeah.
I mean, with the next story though, this is what made me go, "Oh, ESPN is just loading up for something big this season."
Well, Chris Berman signed a contract extension with ESPN through 2029. He will become the first person to celebrate 50 years with that network. He began working at ESPN just a few months after it launched in 1979. 50 years at ESPN.
Chris Berman is one of the greatest broadcasters ever. Just his on-air personality, his quotes, to just his...
He's fun to watch.
He's fun to watch, so I'm very excited about that. Maybe I misread the thing because I thought like 50 years. I kept thinking like, is it ESPN's 50th anniversary? Like,
in 2029, it will be 50
okay.
years.
So we got a 79. So I was wondering if they were loading up for their like a big anniversary year. So like, hey, we get Rich Eisen back, we get Chris Berman back, but
he'll be there when they celebrate their 50th anniversary.
I mean, ESPN's been weird. They've been losing talent, then they've been adding talent.
Yeah, they cut a bunch of people a few years ago, and just a bunch of mass firings, and now all of a sudden they're bringing people in. Hard to know what's going on.
I mean, I could see the strategy of because they added the Pat McAfee show, so I get it. You want a sports show like that that's aimed a little more at not younger demographic, but a more contemporary audience. And then the Rich Eisen show is another one of those sports talk. It costs nothing to produce. It's just him sitting at a microphone.
Yeah.
And probably that also, hey, that's cost effective. Hey, good. We don't have to spend a whole lot of money on that. Chris Berman, I don't know. I think you're just getting a great personality that's been there for 50 years. Like,
yeah, the only thing I see him do anymore is the Sunday night like recap or something,
and that's on ESPN Plus. He's not even on the main network.
Yeah. So
and then he does you said the 3-minute recap. What is that?
Yes. Who's that for?
His fastest 3 minutes. He does that on the Monday night games. That's on ESPN. But he also does the Sunday night countdown, but that's, I think, exclusively on ESPN Plus. I haven't watched it in years.
I can't keep it straight anymore. All right, but yeah, they dropped all of the international games today, supposedly all of them. Week 1, they say that they're not going to announce the Chargers' opponent until tomorrow. But I did see one graphic that somebody posted, and I went back to try and find it. I couldn't find it again. But somebody had posted that it was going to be the Chiefs.
Yeah, I've seen that everywhere. That's why I was wondering why are they not adding it to this graphic.
So we'll see if that's true or not. If it is going to be the Chiefs at the Chargers in Sao Paulo on September 5th, and that game that you pointed out to me is going to be exclusively on YouTube. Yeah. It's the first time they're going to have a game on YouTube. So
for free, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got YouTube or if you've got an account, or even if you don't have an account, you can go watch it on YouTube. So
I think that's crazy because what was it? It'll be the first. Let's see, what do they call it? This marks the first exclusive NFL game to be streamed live for free in its entirety. Like, obviously you need the other services.
Right, you got to pay for it. You got to have a
yeah.
subscription and all that.
But yeah, the fact they're just going to throw it on YouTube and you don't have to pay for it is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So I believe that's the Friday after the opener.
Yep.
So then in week 4, it's going to be the Steelers versus the Vikings in Dublin, Ireland. And then in week 5, it's going to be the Vikings versus the Browns in London on October 5th. So the Vikings get to play back-to-back games in 2 different countries. That's a new one in NFL history. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Isn't that nuts?
But yeah. So evidently they gave up a home game and an away game to do that. Two games overseas. I don't know how they lucked out.
I was gonna say I don't know how they came to that decision.
What if they had a choice in that?
I have no idea.
The league just said, "Yeah, we're sending you for 2 weeks over there."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how those players are gonna feel. I haven't seen anything, but
yeah.
What makes you go, okay? Let's make the Vikings that team that gets that distinction, or if that's just how the schedule shakes out, how the AI generated the schedule.
Yeah. So then in week 6, it's going to be the Broncos versus the Jets in London. That's
Snooze fest.
Week 7, the Rams versus the Jaguars in London.
Snooze fest.
Week 10, the Falcons versus the Colts in Berlin.
Snooze fest.
I really thought the Lions were going to get that game.
We keep saying that. So that's the other thing about this schedule release. All these games leaking out, all these Monday night games and these games. It's like, no Lions have been mentioned.
Right.
So the rumor's been that all these networks want the Lions, and I have not seen one stinking
Yeah.
leak of where the Lions are playing or
Yeah.
what's happening.
And then in week 11 is going to be the Dolphins at the Commanders, or versus the Commanders in Madrid, Spain.
Another snooze fest.
Yeah.
I am not into any of these international games. Like, they all just sound like one team's probably pretty good, and the other team, I'm like, that's a bad team. What are we doing? I mean, maybe they'll end up being good games, but right now, looking at it on paper, I'm like, the only game that's international that I'm feeling will be a good game is the Chiefs-Chargers in that Week 1 Sao Paulo game. But, man, the rest of them, I'm just like,
who cares?
I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And then they did come out with a Christmas Day matchup between the Chiefs and the Broncos.
That should be good.
Now, are they doing the 3 games on Christmas Day
believe
this year?
I
Or
thought
does that
so.
maybe start next year?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Because, yeah, if there are more on Christmas Day, I don't know. But that's the only one that they've announced right now is Chiefs-Broncos on Christmas Day. All right. So, yeah, like I said, the whole schedule's coming out tomorrow. And
there's been a few other games they've said, like a couple of Monday night
Yeah.
games. And
yeah.
I think all these guys are making the rounds because I think each network got to unveil a game. And because I saw Troy Aikman and Joe Buck on like a talk show talking about it. And so I'm sure that's where they unveiled one of their Monday night games, which was like the Bears. No, it was like Packers, Eagles, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care. None of them have been Lions. That's why I'm shocked that none of the
I
Lions.
am too.
stuff
I thought
has-
for sure the Lions would get one of the international games, and I
Same.
thought Germany was going to be it. But oh well, I'm fine with Detroit staying right here in the States.
Same.
Yeah.
Unless NFL, you want to send us tickets so we can go see our Lions play in London. I would not say no to that. I'd even go get some tea and crumpets
Yeah.
or whatever they eat over there. Fish and chips.
Fish and chips. Yeah. Bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash. I don't know what else.
I can't think of anything else.
Just get if there's a game near France, I'll go get a big old baguette and I'll eat that. Carry it like a football under my arm.
Uh-huh.
Wee.
Yeah. You wouldn't have enough left over. You'd eat it all in one sitting.
Probably.
All right, let's move on to some news from the Canadian Football League. Snoop Dogg will headline the BC Lions kickoff concert on June 7th before their game against the Edmonton Elks. Now, Snoop Dogg's got some huge shoes to fill there because we were at BC Place for the Grey Cup, and we got to see the Jonas Brothers. And a few weeks after that, Taylor Swift was there. So now Snoop Dogg's coming in. So we'll see if he can match up to those two.
Hey, even if even if his show doesn't live up to that, it's gonna smell better than. I'll tell you that right now.
And training camps up in Canada are in full swing, and the first preseason game is going to be, get this, next Monday.
Oh my gosh!
Why are they starting the preseason on a Monday? But it's a 4:00 Monday afternoon game. Well,
Because it's preseason and nobody cares.
yeah,
They're getting it out of the way.
they only do. I think, is it just 2? I think it's 2.
They have 3 weeks of preseason, but they only play 2 games each.
Right, 2 games over 3 weeks. So, yeah. But yeah, next Monday is the first preseason game, and that's going to be Calgary at BC. So.
And something we didn't bring up: the BC tweaked their logo. Did you see that?
No.
So if you look at their logo, it's not like that slick, B and C. It's more of like a blocky BC, like they've been putting on their helmet with just the standalone BC, but like incorporated with the lion. It's a slight tweak. You probably wouldn't have noticed it right away. But I saw somebody point it out, and I'm like, oh, it looks like they did just tweak it ever so slightly. So
I didn't catch that.
yeah, I forgot to bring that up. That was something I noticed the other week, and I was like, huh, interesting.
Okay. Well, I do like their indigenous logo.
Yep. And I think they're supposed to unveil some new uniforms too. So I think a lot of these teams, I think the Elks might have some new uniforms. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to it. I love the CFL's uniforms.
Yeah.
So.
Can't wait for the CFL to start up. Love the CFL. Okay. In the European League of Football, they have announced a multi-year partnership with Fubo TV. I'm sure you're aware of Fubo TV because isn't that a streaming thing?
It is one of those streaming things. Yeah, I forget how much it is a month, but. It's an okay service. They get a lot of channels and.
Oh, I thought that came free with like a Roku or something.
I mean, you can download. It's like on my Amazon Fire. I think you can get that. So it's accessible. So this was a very cool thing. When this story came about.
Okay. Yeah, it says Fubo Sports will stream one live ELF game each Sunday plus 5 playoff games. So that's the agreement they've got. Doesn't say how many years, just says multi-year contract. And their season's going to kick off May 17th.
That's this weekend.
Yeah.
And, they've got some other news I saw today that one of the head coaches stepped down, and they already got an interim head coach. So the offensive coordinator moved in for the...
Didn't that happen last year over there, too? Didn't that a couple of coaches...
could be right.
Resigned the day before the season started or something?
I can't remember if it was that close to the season starting, but, I mean...
It was fairly close. During training camp, I think, over there.
Yeah. Let's see. They got... the EFL championship game has been moved back to 3 p.m., This is one of their stories on their app I'm going through. Hamburg, the Sea Devils, that's who lost their coach.
Oh, okay.
So they got a new interim head coach there. So,
okay.
But very excited. If you haven't checked out the ELF, I think it's a fun league to keep track of. They have a great app.
Yes.
That's a big thing for us. They've been playing some preseason games, I want to say, recently. I haven't really kept track of that because I kept thinking that they didn't do preseason, but
I don't have the app. I just go to the internet and go to their webpage or whatever, and that's been really, really good. They got all great highlight packages and all the scores and game recaps and everything. It's really good to put, when we're putting together the scores for this show, that's a very easy place to go to and get the scores and check out a few highlights.
Yeah, but I mean, they got 4 games or 3 games on Saturday, and then they got 5 games on Sunday, it looks like. So
yeah, it's usually half on Saturday, half on Sunday.
Yeah, they do a really good job. I'm very excited for the ELF to get back into the swing of things. I think they added one new team this year.
Yes,
and they lost a team.
Was it Switzerland or Norway? I think it was Norway. Somebody.
Yeah. I forget their name at the top of my head, but they are called the Nordic Storm.
That's right, the Nordic Storm.
So they should be interesting and. Yeah, very excited for the ELF to come back.
Mm-hmm. No Milano Seamen this year.
No, so no Seaman jokes on this podcast. We're on the up and up this year.
Thank goodness for that. That was bad last year. All right, today's birthdays for May 13th. Coach Mike Martz turns 74 today. From 74 to 91, he was a college football assistant coach at San Diego Mesa College, San Jose State, Santa Ana College, Fresno State, and the College of the Pacific, as well as Minnesota and Arizona State. He then moved to the NFL and was an assistant coach with the LA/St. Louis Rams and the Washington Redskins. In 2000, he became the head coach of the St. Louis Rams, and he was there through the 2005 season, leading them to Super Bowl 36, where they lost to the New England Patriots 20-17. He then was an assistant coach with the Detroit Lions in 2006 and 2007. He was with the San Francisco 49ers in 2008 and the Chicago Bears in 2010 and 2011. In 2019, he was the head coach of the San Diego Fleet of the Alliance of American Football, and we went to go see them play the down in Memphis against the Memphis Express. So, yeah, I've got some pictures of Mike Martz on the sideline, and that was a fun experience. It was cold that night.
Yeah.
Just cold enough where you needed a jacket. But as the game got into it, the sun was going down. Yeah, it got a little bit colder. But that was a lot of fun. It was a great experience.
Yeah, for a league that was like 5 games and done, so we got real lucky there.
Yep.
And I think that was the game Johnny Manziel played in too.
No, he was not there.
Not yet there?
No, we missed him.
Not there yet?
He was either there the week before or the week after.
Oh, I thought he got in.
No, we did not see Johnny Manziel play.
I feel like that's wrong.
I'm afraid you're wrong.
Oh.
Let's see. Obituaries. We've got one this week. This is where we take a moment and honor those who've made the world of football a better place. Our obituary this week is that of Bob White, a fullback in the NFL for one season, has passed away at the age of 86. White played college football at Ohio State and was selected in the 8th round of the 1960 NFL draft by the Cleveland Browns. He was also selected by the Houston Oilers in the 1960 American Football League draft. He signed with the Oilers and played one season with Houston. The Oilers won the 1960 AFL Championship, defeating the Los Angeles Chargers 24-17. So one season, one championship ring for that guy. All right, upcoming events calendar. Tomorrow, Wednesday, May 14th, the full 2025 NFL schedule will be released to much pomp and circumstance.
I'm sure, and to much media dissection, and everything's going to be broken down.
Don't watch the show. Record it on your DVR, and then watch it the next morning with fresh eyes, and just FF through all the crap, and just get to your team.
Or if you're a sane person, you just open your social media and look at the post of your team.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and 5 minutes into their broadcast, you're going to be able to go online and get your team's schedule.
Yeah.
So that's all you need.
Yeah, and then you get to check out your team's social media posts. Yeah. So let's see how everybody does this year.
Yeah. I do my own schedule where I put it all in a spreadsheet every year, and I track it that way. And it's something I've been doing for several years. So I've already got my blank schedule ready to go with the teams. The teams that we're playing, so all I got to do is put them in, put the dates in and the times.
Nerd alert.
Yeah, so I'll be doing that tomorrow. I'll be working on a spreadsheet with the 2025 schedule. Okay, let's see. This Saturday, May 17th, the European League of Football begins, and that's on DAZN and Fubo TV. Monday, May 19th, CFL preseason begins. Friday, May 30th, the Arena League season begins. They're going to be having 7 players per team this year instead of 6. And it starts with a throw-off, not a kickoff, because they don't have any kickers. Yep. So it's just all passing and running. Let's see. Thursday, June 5th, the CFL regular season begins. Man, that's just right around the corner in 2 weeks.
Yes, it is. Oh,
we're going to be in CFL action. Saturday, June 14th, the UFL championship game will be played. Hopefully the Michigan Panthers will be in that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and that'll be in St. Louis. And Tuesday, July 1st, is going to be our 400th episode of this podcast.
Yes.
And Adam's decided that we're going to try something different for this one.
Like we didn't come to this together.
We're going to try doing a live broadcast that day for the first time ever in almost 8 years of doing this.
Yep. So we're talking about doing a live show. We're looking at probably bringing on some guys we've talked to before. Yep. We still have to reach out to them and check schedules, all of that. It's very early stages, but we've been trying to figure out, what do we do? 400 episodes is a big milestone for us. What do we do? And I figured maybe a live stream where, we'll give everybody some notice. Y'all can check us out as we flounder our way through an episode live on the internet. And
you compare how bad it is live compared to recorded. How many flubs and miscues and
when we do it in different locations, I mean, there's a little bit of a gap. That's our only issue is I want to say something, but you're talking, and vice versa, and we fumble over each other. But
so you're going to be at your place, and I'll be here, and then we'll just bring in people.
Remotely. We'll try to have a couple of guests, some familiar faces, more likely, to celebrate our 400th episode, talking about the things we love, football. And then who knows if we're going to have it probably simul-streamed, should be on our Facebook, our X, Instagram. It'll be on YouTube, obviously. So we're going to have it all over the different platforms. So
they're on every channel.
Yeah. So if you want to engage with us, you'll be able to chit-chat live as we do the show. And we'll probably answer some questions, or if somebody's got a topic we missed, hey, what about this thing? So it should be a fun night. We haven't figured out what time we'll start yet. Probably 6 or 7 that night, and then we'll probably record for an hour or two. I mean, it could be a long one.
Well, I'd say closer to an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I don't know 2 hours, but I think our longest show was an hour and a half.
I think so too,
and that was like our 6th anniversary show. And our 8th anniversary will be coming up in August, so we'll have another special edition there.
Yeah, we'll see what we do there. If the live stream goes well and we don't get canceled, maybe we do it again.
Thou shalt not make any more podcasts live.
Yeah. There's a reason we don't do things live, folks.
Oh, my God.
We are so unpredictable.
We won't be able to censor Aaron. Oh, my gosh.
No, we won't. Aaron's going to have a field day. He's going to get us demonetized.
Can we do it on a delay?
Nope.
And have a mute button there ready to go?
I mean, I have the eject button. I can just eject him from the screen.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But yeah. So it should be fun, everybody. July 1st. Mark your calendars. If you have any other thoughts about that idea, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, that's our plan right now, and we're still working on it. So, let us know your ideas.
Or who you think we should bring on?
Well, of course, Trey.
Well, no, I'm not asking you. I'm asking the people out there.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Well, you were looking at me. You said, who do you think we should bring on? And so I answered you. We've got a number of people in mind, so we'll see whose schedule works out with ours.
Yeah.
All right. Anything pop up on your phone?
No. The NFL has been unusually quiet this afternoon.
Okay. Well, good for them. All right. They're all set for 8 o'clock tomorrow night. All right. Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. Don't forget to check out the World of Football merchandise store on tpublic.com for the latest football-related T-shirts, hats, mugs, and more from our merch store. And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us guys sitting here in Kalamazoo talking about football. Join us again next week when we'll try and do a better job. Yeah, right. I'm Randy Snow.
And I'm excited to do a video about how wrong I'm going to be about how every team's going to end up this season.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing to do.
Hey.
Predict every game.
Somebody's got to do it, and I will gladly do it.
Fine. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this installment of This Week in the World of Football. New episodes of the podcast are posted every Tuesday and can be found wherever good podcasts are found. You can find the World of Football on Facebook, Instagram, and X by searching for TWOF Kalamazoo or using the links down in the episode description. Head on over to YouTube and subscribe to the World of Football for more fun football-related content. Just search for the World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle @the World of Football. Thanks for listening and hope to see you again next time.